Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com coming to you with my Friday Football Frenzy video. I'm going to talk all things Super Bowl here on this video, give you my thoughts on side and total, and also the list of prop bets that I'm looking at. Got a couple of sheets worth of those, so we'll go through those on this video. Over at BangTheBook.com, we've got a lot of different opinions on Super Bowl 53, lots of spins on the prop betting market. We got Danny Vorgs' official power ratings picks for the Super Bowl. We've got Alan Moody, his totals pick up already, his system pick, and his game pick will be posted as well. We've got Admir doing some great stuff with the prop betting market. Very good article on why Jared Goff is a good bet to win the MVP from Fabian Sommer, a.k.a. Suma on Twitter. A lot of wall-to-wall coverage for the Super Bowl over there at BangTheBook.com. And of course, if you missed any segments on Bang the Book Radio this week, we've gotten prop betting thoughts from the professional handicappers that have joined us throughout the week. So you can check those out right here on our YouTube page. Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, you name it, you'll find Bang the Book Radio there. And of course, over at the website as well, still doing NBA, college basketball, NHL, soccer, tennis, golf, NASCAR even starts again next week. So still covering all of those markets as well. And with our Bang the Book YouTube channel here, good stuff from Brian Blessing. Another 3-0 night, 4-0 if you sprinkled the money line with Rice on yesterday's Thursday 3-pack video. So those picks are doing a little bit better. A lot of great content here on our YouTube channel. So hopefully you continue to check that out. All right, let's talk Super Bowl 53. Out in Las Vegas right now, we're starting to see that Rams money hit the board. Some places down to 2 now with the line. In terms of the offshore market, most places still sitting 2.5 or 2.5. A couple of very public shops, you can find a 3 out there. But we are starting to see that Rams money. And in fact, a very interesting segment with Brent, the head risk manager at DSI Sportsbook, on today's edition of Bang the Book Radio about their exposure, about his thought process of not going to 3. Really, really interesting stuff. And quite frankly, as somebody who covers this industry for a living, this Super Bowl has been one of the most fascinating to me because of what we've seen with the, very strong bet counts on the Patriots. The fact that anytime the line went to 3, sharp money hit the Rams. Books kind of willing to dig in a little bit and be exposed on that Patriots side, thinking that the Rams are the side here in this game. And, as I've talked about this week on Bang the Book Radio, and as I believe I've mentioned on the videos here, if this is a regular season game, this line is Rams -1, -1.5, but because of that perception of the Patriots, because of the trustworthiness of Brady and Belichick relative to McVay and Goff, we saw that line move quickly on the Patriots, and now we're starting to see some of that quant buyback, and some people that are just like, you know what, the Rams aren't getting a whole lot of love, and some people do like to bet with that contrarian type of style. So very, very interesting Super Bowl to say the least. As far as my play on the side here, I do not really like the side a whole lot at all. I think, you look at where this line opened, Rams -1, went to pick them quickly. I think this is a, coin flip situation. Early in the handicapping process, I was looking at this game thinking, well, maybe the Patriots are just going to actually go out there and really dominate one of these Super Bowls. But as you break this thing down, as you really dig deeper and peel back the layers of this Super Bowl onion, I've found that I think this game's a toss-up. I think this game is a legitimate coin flip. It really hinges to me on how well Jared Goff plays. If Jared Goff does not play well, the Rams are going to have a problem. If Jared Goff plays well, doesn't surprise me at all if the Rams win this game. The nice thing about the Super Bowl is that even though I don't have a concrete opinion on the side, I do like the under a little bit, under 56.5, some stray 57s out there now as well. I do like the under for this game, but also with the prop betting market, a lot of different ways to spread your financial resources around. So that's really what I've focused on here for the Super Bowl. And really that's been the case for all of the Super Bowls here over the last several years. The prop market is where it's at. It's a less efficient market. And I think it's one of those markets where, because there are so many options, you can find a lot of good opportunities. So I guess if I had to, I would lean Patriots on the side just because, I'm worried about Todd Gurley. I'm worried about Jared Goff. I'm worried about that Rams rush defense a little bit. Then in terms of the total, do like the under here in the game. That would be the stronger of my traditional plays for this one. In terms of the Patriots, instead of the -2, I would just take that depressed money line price, -125, -130, something like that. We know that the Patriots play a lot of close Super Bowls. That could be their MO here again this year. So just take the couple points out of the equation, just lay an extra 15 or 20 cents and play the money line. If you like the Patriots, I would do it that way. If you like the Rams, I think now at +2 or even +2.5, you either look to take the money line or maybe an alternate spread with the Rams, -2.5, something like that, to where you get a little bit more equity in playing that side of the line. Because, again, as I just mentioned, if this is a regular season game, it's Rams -1, -1.5. So if you can lay an alt spread at plus money -2.5, why not look to go that route? It's not that big of an overlay from where the true line probably should be. So, a lot of different strategies, a lot of different thought processes for the Super Bowl from a side and total standpoint. But I'm going to run through some of the prop bets that I like here on this Friday Football Frenzy video. We'll start with some game props here. Longest touchdown under 50.5 yards. This is one that was available earlier on in the week. I didn't get a chance here this morning to look and see what the juice looks like. This line's kind of between 49.5 or 50.5, but I'm not expecting a game of big plays here. I just mentioned I like the under, so my game props here kind of correlated to my thoughts on the under. You look at this season, longest rush for the Patriots, just 34 yards. Longest rush for the Rams was 56 yards, but that was wide receiver Robert Woods. Maybe we get some gadget plays here in this game, but C.J. Anderson topped out at 46. Todd Gurley topped out at 36. I think this is a fairly run-heavy game. Another reason why I like the under here. The Patriots had 3 receiving touchdowns of 51 or more yards. One from Josh Gordon, who's not playing in this game, not even in the NFL anymore. One from Chris Hogan, who maybe makes a cameo appearance here, but the Patriots have not used him much this season. The other from Cordero Patterson, who I don't think is a big part of this game plan either. So those 3 guys, probably not going to be too involved. They were the guys that had the home run touchdowns for the Patriots this year. And for the Rams, their 2 long passing touchdowns, both from Cooper Kupp, not playing in this game because of injury. That's not to say that Robert Woods or Brandon Cooks or Julian Edelman or Rob Gronkowski can't break for a long touchdown, but I just really don't see that being the way that this game plays out. The Patriots did allow 5 touchdowns longer than this in the regular season, one of them the Miami Miracle. The Rams allowing only 2 to Tyreek Hill and Michael Thomas, 2 elite wide receivers. So I think the longest touchdown under 49.5 or 50.5, obviously you hope you can get 50.5, would be a game prop for me here. Both teams make a field goal greater than 32 yards. I've only seen this one in a couple of books, so maybe not widely available, but these are 2 teams, as good as they are, weren't great in the red zone. So you got some teams that get inside the 20, have some problems. Obviously, for a 32-yard field goal, you've got to be towards the back of the red zone. But these are 2 teams that I think there's a lot of movement between the 20s here in this game. But I think there are some field goals kicked in this one. Obviously, you've got 2 kickers with a lot of leg, very capable of making long field goals here. You were laying a bit of juice. I think this was -130 when I took a look at it. But I think both teams do kick some field goals here in this game. So both teams make a field goal greater than 32 yards. Another prop that I'm looking at. Only 30 combined 4th down attempts in the regular season for these 2 teams. And Sean McVay has not been as aggressive on 4th down in the playoffs as you would think an analytics-minded guy would be. So I do think these teams do look to get some points. And again, correlated to my thoughts on how I think this game will go under. Speaking of that, total touchdowns under 6.5. Seen this one at plus money at some places out there. I understand that the total is 56.5. Under 6.5 touchdowns would mean, at most 42 points with touchdowns and PATs. But I do think that there are some field goals here in this game. As I mentioned already, not expecting big plays, not expecting a lot of tempo. And if we get some of those clock-eating drives that the Patriots have had here in the playoffs, maybe the Rams do the same thing to them. Obviously limits the amount of points that can be scored here, the amount of touchdowns that can be scored here. So go under 6.5 total touchdowns as another game prop that I like. Now, in terms of looking at some team and player props here, Los Angeles to take the first time out. This one makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, you've got a first-time Super Bowl starting quarterback in Jared Goff. You've got a guy on the other side in Tom Brady who audibles a lot at the line of scrimmage, lots of running plays, things of that sort. So I don't think that the Patriots call an offensive timeout before the Rams do. The concern I would have about this prop is if Sean McVay has some sort of strange offensive formation. The Patriots get a little bit lost in space, get a little bit concerned. Maybe they burn that timeout. But I think the Patriots, with how they're coached up, with how they are schematically, I don't really think that comes into play too much. So Rams to take the first timeout is a team prop I do like with Los Angeles. Also another one, Rams punt before scoring. When you look at the Rams here this season, only 33.1 yards per opening drive. That is the lowest of any playoff team except for the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a crazy number in my estimation. You would expect the Rams to be a lot better in that department, but only 33 yards per opening drive. Some of those scripted plays maybe not working as well for Sean McVay as you would think. Patriots forced a punt on 8 of 16 opening drives in the regular season. You got Jared Goff, maybe some nerves here in the equation. The Patriots, one of 6 teams without a first drive turnover in the regular season. So they should win the field position battle if they get the ball first, whether they score or have to punt it away. The Rams shouldn't get a short field here. So I'll take Rams punt before scoring as one of my game props. As far as player props for the Rams go, Corey Littleton over 8.5 tackles and assists. I'm a big fan of. Like I said, I think this is a run-heavy game. And also, I think Littleton is the guy that spies James White from a receiving standpoint. So I think Littleton is around the football all game long. I've seen 7.5 with heavy juice. 8.5 has more manageable juice. But Corey Littleton over 8.5 tackles and assists. Definitely one I like from a player prop standpoint. I'll move over into my next sheet here of the Rams player props. How about Robert Woods receiving yards over? I think he's the trusty possession guy. 18 targets in 2 playoff games here so far. He hasn't had less than 7 targets since Week 10, except for Week 17, when the Rams obviously didn't need him. I think he's the reliable go-to guy for Jared Goff in this game. A lot of sharp guys do seem to like Woods' receptions over, Woods' yardage over. I agree with that frame of thinking. I do like Robert Woods over in that one. I like Todd Gurley under rushing yards and under longest rush. Rushing yards in the mid to upper 60s. Longest rush in the 17 to 18 yard area. I think I actually saw a 20.5 actually, which was heavily juiced, but do like that one quite a bit. Maybe Gurley was playing possum. Maybe that is the case. I don't really think that that's the case. You needed him as much in the NFC Championship game as you need him now in the Super Bowl. And he had 4 carries for 10 yards. You have to win that game to get to the Super Bowl, obviously, and Gurley was a non-factor. Maybe the 2 weeks off helps. If he comes back and, has a big game and beats me, so be it. But, again, I think with a lot of the other props I'm looking at correlated to a lower scoring game. If I lose the Gurley one, so be it. But, again, something doesn't look right with Todd Gurley here. And again, I think no matter what, I think I split this one. If he goes over the rushing yards, I think it's more of a workman-like effort. I don't think he breaks any kind of big runs. He hasn't really done that a whole lot here in the latter portion of the season. So, I do like Gurley under rushing yards and under longest rush. Transition to the Patriots side here for some player props. Julian Edelman, first quarter receiving yards over. I think I saw this around 14.5 earlier on in the week. That's one I do like quite a bit. Edelman was targeted 3 times in the first quarter of Super Bowl 51, had a rushing attempt as well, and was targeted on the first play of the second quarter. I think that's a guy Brady wants to use, a guy he didn't have at his disposal last year in the Super Bowl. I think that's a guy that they want to get the football to early and often, try to get some of that offensive timing going with this 2-week layoff. So, may only take 1 catch, may take 2 catches, but I like Julian Edelman over first quarter receiving yards. Also kind of like Edelman, first touchdown and first Patriots touchdown. Plus 500, plus 550 on the first Patriots touchdown, plus 1,000 for the first touchdown for the game. I think Edelman is a guy that factors in here. I think maybe because of the run-heavy approach I expect both teams to take, maybe they throw a little bit in the first quarter here of this one, which would obviously bring Edelman into the equation. Rex Burke had rush attempts over is another one that I like and played here. I think there's some sweat equity in this one of forcing Aaron Donald and Michael Brockers to make some tackles, forcing them to shed blocks on the interior with Rex Burkhead pounding it between the tackles. I think it's kind of a long game type of thing for Bill Belichick. This number is only 4.5 for Burkhead rushing attempts. I do like that one a little bit. We look at the defensive side here. Trey Flowers under sacks. I saw this in the -140, -150 range, under a half sack for Trey Flowers. Rob Havenstein and Andrew Whitworth, 2 top 15 offensive tackles per a lot of the grading sites that are out there for offensive line metrics. The Rams, one of the best adjusted sack rates. I don't think there are a lot of sacks in this game. I don't think Trey Flowers gets one with the really good offensive tackles there. So I'll take the under for Trey Flowers sacks. Move to the novelty props here. Just a handful of these to mention. For the national anthem, this is the first time in a long time that I won't have any opinion on the national anthem. I haven't seen this prop. If there's a prop out there somewhere for will a player be seen crying during the national anthem, I think that is a yes. I would bet that. I haven't seen it yet. I think we've seen it in past Super Bowls. Maybe somebody out there has it. If that's a thing, I do like that. You talk about Gladys Knight. You talk about what she's meant musically for the African-American community. A lot of these players' mothers and grandmothers would have listened to her growing up. And also, I think there's a very good chance that she really belts out this anthem in her home state of Georgia. Could lead to an over, but also the one data point we have on YouTube of her singing is a stone cold under. So I don't know what happens with the national anthem here. Like I said, if you can find a prop about someone seen on the broadcast crying during the anthem, I think that is one that would come through. But again, I don't know if anybody is actually offering that. A couple of novelty props for the broadcast I do like. Broadcast mentions Belichick and McVay age gap. I've seen this at a couple of books. I mean, look, you talk about media narratives and things that they love to latch onto. The age difference between Bill Belichick and Sean McVay is too easy to mention here, especially with how McVay has done in this hiring cycle from a coaching tree standpoint. A lot of teams going the Sean McVay route for analytics and younger guys. I'm not going to say I guarantee. I can't say that. But I would be very, very surprised if that age gap is not mentioned during the Super Bowl 53 broadcast by either Romo, Nance, a sideline reporter, anybody. I'd be stunned if it's not mentioned. It's too easy of a story to latch on to. This one was heavily juiced. I saw it -195, -245 in that range. But, again, I mean, it would be a stunner to me if that's not mentioned. One more is it's kind of a cross-sport broadcast one. Will Tiger Woods be mentioned on the broadcast? This is plus money about 3-1 here. I understand why it's juiced heavily to the no, but you've got the Super Bowl on CBS, you've got the Masters on CBS, you've got Jim Nance, you've got Tony Romo. Tony Romo is the X factor in the wild card here. Tony Romo and Tiger Woods played together in the 2012 Pebble Beach Pro-Am, so they are friends. Tony Romo, in the tournament that he played on the Web.com tour last summer, used one of Tiger Woods' old putters. They're friends. They know each other very well. Tony Romo, a scratch golfer, a very good player. Jim Nance, kind of that flair for the dramatic type of guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Tiger Woods is mentioned here on the broadcast. And also, too, something I thought about here this morning, with the Tony Romo Nostradamus thing, calling out plays before they happen, stuff like that, it's very within the realm of possibility that Jim Nance says, Tony, you got any, who do you like for the Masters? You got any predictions, any calls for that? I'd be shocked if Romo at that point doesn't mention Tiger Woods. So I think there's some decent equity in that prop against a plus money price. It is a novelty thing, so you don't want to go crazy with it by any means. But will Tiger Woods be mentioned on the broadcast? I'd go yes on that one. An interesting little novelty prop, to be sure. So, much longer video here, but I want to talk about the prop bets that I've made here for the Super Bowl and some of the things that I like and have in mind here for the big game. Go ahead and feel free to leave yours in the comments for this video. Of course, look for Kyle Hunter's college basketball breakdown for the Saturday card here on our YouTube page later on today. I'm Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com.